Even as the housing market continues to struggle, Americans are buying more second homes. A new report out today from the National Association of Realtors shows investment and vacation home sales surged in 2011. Paul Bishop is the NAR's Vice President of Research, and he joins us now from our Washington Bureau. Mr. Bishop, welcome to Bottom Line. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Glad to be with you.
Sir, the jump in sales of investment and vacation homes last year, it was significant. Investment home sales were up 64.5%, and vacation home sales were up 7%. What's driving this surge?
Well, in the case of investment sales, it's clear what we've been hearing now for quite some time is investors have been stepping into the market. They're taking advantage of low prices and really looking forward to the investment value going forward and potential appreciation of these homes, and in the meantime getting the rental income as a rental property. And so investors have really come to the fore and recognize that that's a good investment opportunity right now.
No, well, we'll get to the prices in just a moment, but I had to ask, I was looking at some of your information, and it says that 30% of all vacation home sales sold last year were in the West, and that includes the state of Arizona, which, as you know, housing prices have plummeted there. Is this about cash that's been sitting on the sidelines just waiting to come to market?
It certainly is part of it, because what we see is a significant number of investors and even vacation home buyers purchased homes for all cash. And as you know, in some of the states that were hardest pressed, we've seen some pretty significant declines in prices. So a lot of investors have stepped up and decided that now's the time to buy, and often are doing that with cash and putting their money where they think it's going to benefit the most over the long term.
Mr. Bishop, are buyers purchasing these properties for themselves, or are they purchasing them for relatives?
Well, in some cases, they're purchasing them for relatives, but especially when vacation home buyers think about a purchase, they're also thinking about their own use further down the line, perhaps in retirement and as a investment going forward. But certainly, it's oftentimes either for an investment purpose to rent to others, or in the case of a vacation home for personal use immediately, or for a retirement home in the future.
Are we also seeing that maybe some of these homes are being, I guess, purchased for kids who are going perhaps maybe away to college at a different location other than their present address?
We have to believe that that's one of the motivations, simply because it's the case that there are a lot of bargains out there, especially in areas where parents might be looking for a home for their kids who are in college. And again, the investment side of that is pretty attractive right now as well.
What price range are we talking about here?
Well, most of the vacation homes we've seen recently have been in the, $150,000 range, a little less, a little more, depending on the area you're looking at. But a lot of the times you can look at, condos and things like that, and prices are even more favorable.
What percentage of investment buyers and vacation buyers paid all cash? You just hinted at this just a moment ago, but I'm curious, is it a fairly large percentage?
Well, in the case of vacation buyers, fully 40% of them paid all cash, and for investment buyers, it was almost half. So there's a significant number of buyers in either category who are putting their cash to work by investing in real estate at this point.
Well, if they don't pay all cash, then do the same rules apply if, say, they were buying their first home, a significant amount of money down?
It's certainly the case for those buyers who did take out a mortgage, a significant percent, put down at least 30%, and that really attests to the fact that in many cases underwriting is still pretty strict, and so getting a mortgage, especially for a vacation and investment property, can be kind of difficult.
Mr. Bishop, what's the demographic of Americans who are purchasing investment and rental properties, and what's the median income level we're talking about?
Well, in the case of investment properties, the typical age is about 50 years old, and so it's buyers who are probably in that right around that $80,000 to $90,000 income range, and so it's really middle income or a little better than middle income buyers looking for investment opportunities.
Mr. Bishop, we have about 20 seconds left. I have to ask, what does this tell us about the overall housing market? Because we've been talking about that periodically here at Bloomberg. That market, as a lot of people continue to say, is the Achilles heel of this economy, the economy not taking off because the housing bubble has been so fierce that a lot of people, their homes were foreclosed on. A lot of people moved out and they left their keys on the dining room table, and now they've become renters. Is today's information about the investment and vacation property, the surge in sales, is that indicative of anything we might see in the overall housing market going forward?
Well, what it suggests is there is certainly more interest in the market on the side of investors, as we talked about. But what we really want to see is the fact that primary residence buyers get into the market, and really that's a matter of underwriting and the difficulty of getting a mortgage at this point that's holding back a lot of people.
Paul Bishop, he is the Vice President of Research at the National Association of Realtors, joining us from our bureau in Washington. Mr. Bishop, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thanks.